courage to act, life will move on you. I didn't just leave voluntarily to go to the state legislature. I was fired. And we know scripture that says, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And the truth that I had to come to grips with, that I wasn't in charge of my destiny. The truth was that I wasn't giving all that I had. The truth was that there are some things that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the courage to act on those things. I've been cheating myself and my family. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, do it with everything that you have. Develop the habit of giving more than what you're paid for. Develop the habit of setting standards that others will be measured by. Do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail.
Many goals that you may have and making it to this next moment. It ain't the start of the race you got to be careful with. You got to come find me when there's a finish line.
If you get into the habit of just being mediocre, it will become a part of your consciousness. If you get in the habit of giving less than what you have it within you to give, it will begin to reflect itself in your personality. It will begin to damage you. And you don't want to be a part of that kind of self-destructive behavior.
Like I tell my kids all the time, it take a long time to make a lot of money. See, my kids look at me and they be talking about, well, Dad, you ain't got no degree, you didn't finish school. Why I got to go to school? Well, first of all, you don't have no jokes. My kids don't understand the process. See, they just see me now. They didn't know I flunked out of school. They don't care nothing about the third marriage I'm on. They don't know that I lost everything twice. They wasn't around when I was homeless and I lived in the car for 3 years. They didn't see the process. What most people do is to give up before God give you the gift. See, when you ask God for something, he boxes it up and he ships it immediately. But you have to remain on Faith Street in order to receive the gift. The problem is when God boxes up the gift and he ships it to you, he never gives you the date that the package is going to arrive. He'll never tell you that. Most people move off Faith Street before the package get there.
He says, renew your mind and your strength.
You can't move over on the I Doubted Boulevard. He don't ship packages to I Doubted Boulevard. He only ship packages to Faith Street. You can't get over there on I Don't See How Circle. So when you move out of faith, the package got to go back to sender. So you have to stay. You have to stay in the process and complete the fall.
I discovered that to be a genius, all you got to do is use 1% more of your brain, and they call you a genius. That's how mediocre our culture is. What can you do? What is your true ability? The problem is our culture attempts to tell us what we can do, and you believe them. The educational system of your city is your greatest problem. Oh, Father, help me explain this. Because they attempt to judge your potential by their exams. And in one given week, they give you a test. And when you get a C, they say you are an average human. How dare they? You just had a bad day, that's all. That's why most of the greatest people on earth are people who never finished school. That includes Bill Gates. Because the educational system don't have the mechanism to measure how much you know. You are so smart, they can't measure your intelligence. So don't believe anything they told you about you. Some of you are still living under an exam you took 20 years ago. And they told you that you cannot calculate. You can never be a professional in arithmetic. You cannot add and multiply. And even today you're afraid of a calculator because you believe them. The Bible says, let God be true and trust no man.
My mother took her time to promise me one thing. She said, let me tell you something, baby Ray. She said,
trust no man.
Don't put your trust in no man.
I don't trust any system on earth.
She said, not only do you invest in a relationship with God, she said, but if you do anything more than anything else, make sure you got a relationship.
That's why I don't trust any of your opinions of me. I'm telling you now, what you think about me don't mean nothing to me. So keep your thinking to yourself. In other words, you and I must be careful not to allow people to judge us.
So no matter what you say to me, no matter what you say I cannot do, no matter what you say I will not do, I must do, I have to do. I am king, I live as king, I walk as king.
You want to set some high standards for yourself.
This is our new identity. The new identity is you must be okay with your comfort zone being shut up. I can do all things. Philippians 4:13 says, when I get ready to, I can do all things. See, man deals with the possible, but God deals with the impossible. Let me tell you something special about it. He waits for the right moment. You ever notice about God? He's always on time, God. He's the God that every time we think we by ourselves, he say, I'm still carrying you. Now, how many people realize that sometimes God has to put you in the most isolated positions ever to get your attention? If there's something in your life that you know need changing, make sure you change it before God changes it. Because when God changes, he gonna really test your faith.
Every successful person I know has jumped. When you jump, it allows your parachute to open and you to sail through life within your gift. But when you first jump, your parachute don't open right away. That ain't how it works. If it opened right away, everybody would jump. When you first jump, you're in an uncontrollable fall. It's almost like you're spinning out of control. But you got to stay with the jump, because eventually God will put the necessary air up under your parachute and you'll be in the air like you're supposed to. But you're just going through the process. You're going to get cut up on the rocks. You're going to get your skin tore up. You're going to lose loved ones along the way. You're going to lose friendships along the way. You might lose your car, your job along the way. You might lose your house. But trust and believe that God got you. Name one time he ain't ever had you. Name one time God ever let you down. Name one situation he didn't bring you through. You have to know that God got you some kind of way.
See, the last chapter to your life has not been written yet, and it doesn't matter about what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter about the things that you've done that you feel guilty about. If you wouldn't do it today, you're convicting an innocent person.
Now, the jumping requires faith. Now, what is faith? Faith is a belief in things that you cannot see. Look, man, when I started in comedy, I did not see this. I didn't see any of it. But I had this little piece of faith, though, that if I jumped, he would get me, because I was miserable in my life. I didn't like waking up. I ain't have no purpose. I ain't know what I was supposed to be doing.
People, please carry this. Certain scriptures you're supposed to carry with you. I carry it around my neck in a ring form. Isaiah 54:17 says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon, no thing, nothing. But there's a secret to that message. It didn't say it wouldn't form. It just said it wouldn't prosper.
Hello, good evening all. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to today's open house training with Great White FX. I know some of you are from various groups and different time zones. So I welcome you all once again. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend the training. Everybody is intentionally on mute. You cannot unmute yourself. If you have any question, just raise your hand and I will gladly unmute you so that you can ask your question. Because sometimes typing a question conveys a different, it's not as effective as when the person asks, uses his own or her own voice to express the question. So once again, thank you all and welcome to today's open house with Great White FX. So for those of you, these are my Facebook page. Let's see. Yep, this is my Facebook handle, my two Facebook pages. This is my Twitter handle. This is my Instagram page. This is my Telegram handle. This is my phone number. And this is my YouTube channel. You might not see so much on these other places, but if on my YouTube channel is where I have most of my work because I'm more of a video person. But you could still check them out. Of recent, I started using Instagram and Facebook to post some of my chats because I prefer you see the chat, then you get an explanation before you follow up with the chat. So that's out of the way. Let's start. Before we start with today's class, I would like to briefly just chip in something I want people to get to understand. I know a lot of you are in this business to make money. I was like many of you years back. But there's one thing I've come to understand. To succeed in this business, you need a certain mindset. The trading environment does not give you structure. What do I mean by structure? It has no rules. Everybody comes from an environment where there are rules. There are things you must do. Before I start, can you all hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, can you type in yes before I continue? If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, can you type in yes? Everybody is on mute. You cannot unmute yourself because various backgrounds might have noise interference. If you have a question, all you just have to do is raise your hand and I will attend to your question. So please, um, let's just make it easy for everybody. If you have a question, all you just have to do is raise your hand and I will attend to your question. So now, as I was saying, you need a certain mindset because the market does not do anything for you. Everybody coming into trading, they're coming from an environment of structure. You've been told what to do and what not to do. And coming into an environment like the trading market where you are free, it has no structure, unlimited freedom with unlimited potential. Not many people think it's easy, but it's not. There is a hidden danger there. If you do not have the requisite mindset to operate in such an environment, you're going to have a lot of problems. And a lot of people are coming from the environment where they've been able to influence, control, and manipulate the social structure around them. So when they come into the environment, they bring into the trading environment, they bring that mindset. You see people hoping that a trade will turn in their favor, when initially the person did not define his risk and did not take responsibility for the trade and accept the fact that that trade can go into a loss. And most people are in this business to get back at the market as a wrong mindset. I know some of you are from various groups and some of your mentors must have told you to take your time to study. They are not lying. The market has the unlimited potential to do psychological, financial, and emotional damage to anybody who is not willing to go through the right way. So before I continue, please and please, I will advise everybody to take the time to learn. This business, if it were that easy, it would not have a high failure rate. Only 10% succeed properly, are consistently profitable. The remaining 90% they fail because the remaining 90% have not developed what the 10% have. There are two types of people who succeed in this business: those who are born into trading families or those who have proper guidance. And proper guidance, the person knows how to teach it. If you don't have any of these two and you're in this business, you're exposing yourself to a great amount of damage. So please and please. And like there's something somebody I respect so much says, Sun Tzu, he says, let me move this up. He says, thus it is said that one who knows the enemy and knows himself will not be endangered in 100 engagements. One who does not know the enemy but knows himself will sometimes be victorious, sometimes meet with defeat. One who knows neither the enemy nor himself will invariably be defeated in every engagement. This is the true cadre of people coming into trading. Most people who come into trading are in this lower cadre. They are here. They think they know themselves, but they don't know themselves. And so invariably what happens, you think you know yourself and you learn a little about the market. Invariably, you will always be defeated because you don't know the market, you don't know yourself, and you don't know the market. So please and please, I know why I'm saying this. A lot of people might be like, why am I saying this? I've seen the damage firsthand. If you're not careful, this business can give you high blood pressure, basic. Because once emotionally you start taking damages, the next thing, it will affect your body. Your body will start feeling it. Hormonal imbalances will start, and before you know it, things will change. You know why I'm saying this? So please and please, please and please, nobody would see, if you come across somebody who says he's a farmer and the person is throwing his seeds on the field, and you look at the field is filled with all kinds of shrub and weed. You will look at the farmer as being stupid. You will ask him, why didn't you clear it and till it for planting? If that farmer is stupid, so are so many of you who are trying to trade without the proper mindset and training. You will end up only giving back to the market. The market does nothing to anybody. A lot of people can't take responsibility for themselves. And in a market that does not care about you, that is recipe for disaster. So I know why I'm saying this. Some of you might have the feeling that this business will bring your dreams to reality. Yes, it can, but there is a price. You need to pay the price. If you can't pay the price, just forget it. Go back to where you're coming from. So, that said, let me get down to our business today. So, what is supply and what is demand? Supply and demand, first and foremost, you need to understand how the market flows. There are always orders at every level of the market. At every major level, there are always orders there. So I don't know if this whiteboard, let me try something. If you can't see this, please just let me know, because I'm using two screens. So can you guys see the whiteboard? Hello? Can you guys see the whiteboard? Okay, so everybody can see the whiteboard. Okay, so now let me start off. So let me start off with not seem to button the. Well, wait, let me just try. This is what demand looks like. Price comes up. No, sorry. This supply. This is what supply looks like. I'm trying to get this text to highlight, but it doesn't seem to be working. I don't know. Not so good with this. Trying to get it to work. So price comes up, then you have a bit of consolidation, then price drops. The area from price dropping is what you would refer to as your supply zone. Are we on the same page? It's what you refer to as your supply zone. If price comes back into this area, most often than not, you will see price come back. You guys are not seeing anything. Are you guys seeing the screen now? Are you guys not seeing anything? Are you not seeing any write-up on the screen? Can you guys see what I've written or drawn on the screen? Let me get rid of this so that I can draw it again. So I'm trying to show you guys, this is supply. This is supply. Price makes a move up. Then there's a bit of consolidation here. Then after that, price drops. This area where price drops from is your area of supply. If price should come back if price comes back into this area, most often than not, you will see a drop in price. So this is what you call your supply area. This is what you call your supply area. Then what is a demand area? Demand. So a demand area is like the exact opposite of supply. So price drops. As price drops, you start to see a bit of consolidation, kind of like consolidation. This area of consolidation, from this area, you see price came down. The next thing price does is that you see an up move in price. This area from which price took off from is your demand area. What you do is you wait for price to come back. You wait for price to come back down to this area. And if it gives you evidence, you take a long position. So this is how it works. But what is the rationale behind this? As price is moving, areas at which there are high orders, where they have high volume of orders, price will find it hard to break through those levels. You know, in trading, they will tell you that the more a level goes, the higher or the stronger that level is. Most often, it's not the case, because the more a level holds, what it means is that anytime price comes to that level, be it a support level or a resistance level, they are eroding orders. That's like any pending position there, they are picking it up. So now let me explain. If at this area here, let's say at this area here, that's before at this consolidation. But wait, let me just do something else. Let's say here you have 100 positions, and those 100 positions are split up into 25. As we could look at, let's say 100K positions, and each of them is split up into 25K. And you know there are mixtures of levels. So let's say this level we're looking at now is okay. Let's say at 1.2500, we have 100K orders. Then at 1.2250, we have 50K orders. So anytime price comes into this area, it will drop. Let's assume the orders at this level was split into 50-50. Anytime it comes in here, it picks the others. Anytime it comes in there, it picks the others. Sooner or later, all these 50K orders at this position, they are going to dry up. And once that happens, when price comes there, it's going to smash through it. but it has these others here at this place to still contend with. So what will happen is they will start something like this until they drain all the others here. And once they are through with it, what will happen? They will smash through it. So that is the concept behind supply. If you turn it upside down, is the concept behind demand. Do I have any questions so far? Anybody with any questions so far? If you have a question, you just raise your hand. If you raise your hand, I will be able to answer your question. Yes. So just raise your hand on your screen. There's an app that's something that will allow you to raise your hand. If you raise your hand, then you draw my attention, then I can unmute you. Somebody said yes, there's a question, but I can't find the person's name. Okay, I think I found the person. Okay, Mr. Edmond, can you go ahead with your question? Hello? Mr. Edmond, you have a question. Can you go ahead with your question? Mr. Edmond, you said you had a question. You are open to ask your question. Can you go ahead and ask your question? I guess he's not ready. Guess he's not ready. So anybody with any other question? Anybody with any other question before I go to the live chat? Anybody with any other question? Do I proceed? If I proceed, let me have your yes so that I can move on. Do I proceed? Mr. Edmond, I unmuted you. You didn't respond. So I'm going ahead, maybe some other time. So now I'm going to remove this whiteboard. I'm going to remove this whiteboard. So can you all see my screen now? Excuse me, can you all see the chat? Can you all see the chat? Okay. Okay, so now let's start off with this chart. So now if we look at this chart, this is a plain chart. There's one secret I found out. When I started trading, there was something I always noticed. I always noticed that whenever the chart has this, when I switch to line chart, because I was taught to use line chart, I always noticed something like this. I always call it an elbow. I always notice that whenever it happens, if price comes back, then most times there's a reaction. But I never knew why. I never knew why. So the easiest way to spot demand and supply is from your line chart. And the safest way sometimes is you use the 4-hour time frame. If you are an intraday trader, that's if your trades are within a day, you can use the 4-hour time frame to help you pick up higher time frame zones. Then you drop to your 1 hour and your 15 minutes. So what you look for when you go to your line chart is a straight drop. Do you see this drop? You're looking for very, very obvious straight drops. Or if you're looking for supply, you need a straight drop. Straight. If you're looking for demand, you need a straight rally, a straight rally, a straight rally. Not one that has many curves or is looking like noodles or something. It has to be straight and clear. So when you do that, what you do is you pick your rectangle tool, because I'm using an MT4 chart. You pick your rectangle tool, you look for the origin of the drop. You pick your rectangle tool, you look for the origin of the drop. When you pick the origin of the drop, you look for all obvious ones that you can see. So what do we do here? We found this drop. Then we go to the candlestick. To draw your supply and demand, on your chart, this is what you need to do. First, you find the high of the area you're looking at. And in this case, this is the high around here. Let me zoom in a bit more so that we all can see. This is the high here. This is the high here. You pick that area. Well, let me use my trend lines first. Let me use my trend lines to pick it first. So what you do is, when you've done this, you pick the center. Don't pick the first, don't pick the third. Just pick the center, put it at the top. Then on your keypad, when you want to use the same trend line, you hold down Control and select the trend line. So in this case, I've picked the top. This is the highest top of this drop area. This is the highest area here. Then what do you look for? You need to find the area from where it started dropping from. And I look at it, it started dropping from here. The candle before that drop is my candle of interest. So what do? I pick it like this. Is the body I pick. If you go to your line chart, it might not show here. But if I go to a lower time frame, it will show clearly. It is the body I'm interested in. When you're looking for a supply, you pick the high and a body close. Sometimes there can be several candles, but you pick the body nearest to the point of drop. Are you guys with me so far? Are you guys with me so far? Hello? So what you then do is you pick this your rectangle tool and shade that area. It makes it easy for you to visually see it on your chart. So once you've done that, because let's assume this is all we're looking at now. You get, this is all we're looking at now. You switch back to your line chart. When you switch back to your line chart, if you look again, you find out that there's something here. You come at this zone, you can just put it here. But this might not be the high. Because when you switch back to your candles, you can see that it really went up. You understand? So this area, you might not use this area, except you go down to a lower time frame before you can use this area. So this area, you will not use it because of this spike. That's from the 4-hour time frame, we're not going to use it. So what do? We can then drop down to our 1-hour time frame. We drop to our 1-hour time frame. You can remember when I said if you drop to a lower time frame, that zone becomes easier for you to see. So what do? You pick the high here and you pick the body before this drop. Sometimes in a situation like this, you can pick the low, but it will be misleading. So it's best you pick the body close before the drop. Okay? You pick your shaded, your rectangle tool and shade that area so that it will be visually easy for you to notice. It will be visually easy for you to see. It's visually easy for you to see. So we've done this. So what you now do, you wait to see what price does at that area. For now, this is all we have. So we drop down again to our line chart. If we drop down to our line chart, you see the same thing here. If I drop down to a 15-minute time frame, I'll be able to get this zone. So I don't want to drop to a 15-minute time frame yet. So let's just go up. You can see there's a little drop here. Sometimes you just need to be careful so that you're not shading up everywhere on your chart. So that you're not shading every zone on your chart. So like this area, because it is small, you can do something like this. You can pick it, it is wide. That's why sometimes you just need to know how wide your area is. Do you see what happens? You see after this drop, price came in there, spiked into it, and came back again. And after that, what happened? Price dropped. Now, let's see. We have something here. We have another zone here. Pick this. think I made a mistake. Selected this shaded area here. Okay. So we have another zone here. You can see the drop. So what do? We switch back to our line chart, our candlestick. Then here, sometimes it's very easy. As you can see here, this is the origin here, not here. This is the point of drop. But sometimes, what I will do is, I will pick this high, then take this body here. With experience, you'll be able to see a lot of things and know how to arrange it. Then, this is what I have here. I'm not seeing anything to the left. The left has not, the right-hand side has not yet. Okay, somebody is asking a question. What's the person? Joseph. Oh. Mr. Joseph, can you raise your hand again? Mr. Joseph, you raised your hand. I just saw it now. Can you raise your hand again so that I can unmute you and you ask your question, please? Can you raise your hand? Madam Nchideka, you're free. Can you ask your question? You're free.
How?
Hello?
These lines you are drawing, I don't know how you do them all, since we are using MT4.
They are trend lines. I will explain. Any
But
other
the trend
question?
lines, once I use, the thing goes to infinity. So how did you stop it from going all the way?
Do you have any other questions so that I can attend to your question and continue? Any other question,
So
ma'am?
no, I'm following what you are teaching, but the how to get these lines is what I don't know, because I know with the trend line, when I draw trend line, it goes all the, I don't know, it
Don't
just
worry,
runs away from me.
I'll sort it out now.
Okay. Thank you.
So, to get this trend line that I used, you just pick your ordinary trend line. Like what the lady, the madam who called in, this is how it happens. You select your trend line. You go to trend line properties. Do you see this ray? Unselect it. When you unselect it, it becomes very short. Then it's easy for you to maneuver. When you get it to where you want to place it, you right click again, then select ray, then it extends. Have I answered your question, ma'am? If I've answered your question, you can just type in here so that I can continue. And to keep the trend line straight, the top price, when you go to the parameter, the top price and the lower price must be the same thing. There must be no shift in the lower price or the upper one, so that why the trend line can be very straight. Anybody with any other question before I continue? Anybody with any other question? Okay, so I can proceed. If I can proceed, let me have your yes, please. If I can proceed, let me have your yes, please. Can I proceed? Okay. So let me get rid of this trend line now. Delete it. So if I look at this chart again now, I'm looking to my right. The right has not yet happened. This is all I have now. I go back to my line chart. I can see that there's a sharp move here. There's a sharp move here. So what do? I look for the origin of the move. This is my demand area. So what do? I click this zone again. I shake the area. I go to my line chart. I go to my line chart. To draw a demand, all you need is the low of that demand and the body or body close of the candle before the takeoff. That's the body close of this, that's this red candle. The body close of this red candle before the takeoff, then you note it like this. Then We keep moving. As we keep moving, you can see what happened here. There's a little, if you look at this area here, there's a small supply here that was created here. Price didn't touch it. Because all you just do with this system is that you are adapting to what the market is doing. You're not doing anything else, but adapting to what the market is doing at the particular point in time. So you're not trying to be right. You're not trying to tell the market what it will do and what it will not do. All you're just doing is you're adapting like a river flowing. Okay? So we have a little one here. That is assuming we didn't see this. So if you go to your line chart, you can see the drop. The thing with the demand and supply system is that it will teach you patience. If you're not patient, this system will not work for you. Because the setup has to occur first, then you wait for price to come back to that area. Why does this system work? This is the system that those that move the market operate with. If a certain setup, if the market is not aware of a certain setup, they will not respect it. That's just it. If they are not aware of a certain setup, they will not pay attention to it. So let's continue. You can see what happened here after this was created. Price dropped. And as price rallied back up, it created a demand here. So this is a little bit, this demand seems a little bit technical because now the low will be here. Do you see? That's why sometimes you just need to be, because this is the candle before the move. You can't take this low because they are lows here. So as you can see, price ran into it. And after price ran into it, it dropped. It dropped for some pips before going back in there. So with this situation, you then have what you call an engulf. That means this supply zone has been taken out, whether it is demand or supply. Once you see price go above it, close above it, that area has been taken out. So what you will then be waiting for sometimes is what they call a break and retest setup. Like I said, sometimes it will work well, sometimes it will not work well. So, but in this case, this was a failed break. As you can see, this is a failed break. But this is a 1 hour chart. If you take this to 15 minutes and you know this is U30, it moves very fast. This move would have given you some money. And so let's see what happens. Do you see what happened here? To the dot. Straight up to the dot. You'd have been wondering, why did this happen? But it came into a prior demand area. Nothing in this business is 100%. So that's why you must always factor in. You must always, before you take the trade, have at the back of your mind that that trade may not work. Just have it at the back of your mind that there is greater chance it will not work. So what do you do to protect yourself and take responsibility for your trade? You put a stop loss. And after that, you move back up again. And if you look at this area, when the area gets taken out, what you do is you remove it. You remove it so that it does not give you unnecessary issues. So if you look at this situation here, this area here, this area of takeoff, there is a demand there. You can say that this demand is still being respected. So if I go back to my line chart, I have a little supply here. If I zoom out here, I have a little supply here. So what I will do is I can take this and put here. This initial supply is no longer valid because price has taken it out. So what do? I take this area and take this area. If I go back to my candles, you can see, even with all these big moves, it came into this area. Let me set this well. Because I can either use this high or I can use this high. Sometimes you just need to, a little bit of experience will save you a lot of pain. So you can see from with all this big move, where did it come into? It just came into here, and after that, what happened? It dropped. So this is your money. This is your money. And then after that, they then started playing inside this area. Once price closes out of the zone, that zone has been disrespected. The zone is no longer valid. But if they spike through it and close back inside, when I mean spike, that means they go through it and leave a week, that zone is still valid. If you can hear me clearly, just please type in yes. If you can hear me, type in yes. Somebody says my audio is not working. If you can hear me, type in yes. If you can hear me, type in yes. Okay, so the person who says my audio is not working, you may need to disconnect and connect back. You may need to disconnect and connect back. So let's continue. So you see what happened? One thing is that most times I've found out that when a zone has been disrespected, it might not act as a supply or demand area, but it will then shift to support and resistance. As you can see here, price came above. Do you see the break above? Do you see the deep retest? And after that, they went back up. Do you see the zone again? After that, they dropped. Then let's go forward again. They closed below. Do you see as the zone acted as support here? Then price went up, started dancing above it. Where did it go into now? Then one thing, like I've said, this is the creation of the supply. This is the first test. Your money is always made on the first test of the area. The fresher the area, the better it is, whether it is support, whether it is supply or demand. The fresher the area, the better for you. If like, assuming, let me show what I mean. This supply was created here. The moment you start seeing price coming back to it, you wait. How do you take trade? There are two systems. You place a pending order here. That's in this case, you place a sell limit and put your stop above the high. How do I do that? Most times what I do is I go to my indicator list, go to Bill Williams, get fractals. When I get my fractals, I place it. If I look at this zone here, the highest fractal is this high. I'll place my stop loss few pips up, just above the fractal. If they take out that fractal, then I know I'm wrong. You place your stop loss there, then you wait and see. Or the other option is you use an alert. You place a price alert there. Once price gets there, you start waiting till you see a candlestick pattern that would leave that area. And the rule there is, from what I found out, is you must always wait for price. You must always wait for price to clear the lower zone. Like if you look at in this case, you see price immediately they closed back. This is where you place your entry. But in this situation, somebody who placed his own here would already be in money before you take your own. So this is something you need to practice consistently. The more you practice, the better you get, because in this business, you need to, one, trust yourself and trust your system. That's two things that needs to be done. You need to trust yourself and trust your system. Because you need to believe in yourself first, that I know what I'm doing. And how does that come? With proper knowledge and training. Then how do you trust your system? You've taken that system over a period of time. That is where experience comes in. That's why sometimes I tell people, before you go into any trading setup or system, you must have tested it severally. At least give it a period of 3 to 6 months. Some people might say it's a long time, yet But when you check of the confidence level you will build within that period, you'll be grateful you did. It takes 21 days to create a habit, and it takes 90 days for that habit to become a lifestyle. What do I mean by a lifestyle? It becomes automatic. You don't need to think of it. You just immediately do it. So those are two options, two ways of entering a demand or supply zone. Like in this case, you see, it just touched it a bit and took off. In this case, you then have to be a little bit wary because the zone is wide and your stop loss is going to be here. Then you ask yourself a question is, if I'm risking this, can I get the same move up? Do I have any question? Any questions so far? Anybody with any question? Anybody with any questions so far? Anybody with any questions? Mr. Olisa, you're on mute. Please ask your question now. Mr. Olisa Edmond, you are free to ask your question now. Go ahead and ask your question. Mr. Edmond, can you hear me? You are free to go ahead and ask your question. Well, hello? Mr. Edmond, you are free to ask your question. Go ahead and ask your question. Okay, let me proceed. The fractals help you. You get the fractals, you go to your indicator list. You go to Bill Williams. When you go to Bill Williams, this is it here, under fractals. That's where you get it from. That is where you get it from. So when you get it, you apply it. What does it do for you? It helps you place support and resistance. It helps you place, when you want to take a trade, you just know where to put your stop loss. If it's a sell position, you try to put your stop loss above the most recent fractal in that area. If you want to take a sell, if you want to take a buy, the same thing. So are we on the same page? Do I continue? Can I continue? If I can continue, just type in yes. If I can continue, type in yes. If you have a question, just please raise your hand. So that's how you place your entries. After you've drawn your zone, you can place price alerts at the zone, not directly at the zone, few pips before the zone, so that when price gets there, you get a notification. I could do it, but the alert might not work so well. Okay, I think it's going to work. Let me show you guys how to place the alert. So what you do is, you right click on your mouse, you go to trading. When you go to trading, you see this alert, you click it. Do you see this arrow here? That arrow shows you that the alert is active. Then what do? You double click on that arrow. When you double click on that arrow, this icon will pop up. When this icon pops up, you can alter the value here, and you can change the source of the alert. Like this, if this alert goes up, let me test it. Can you guys hear that sound? Can you guys hear that sound? Hello, can you guys hear that sound? That is the noise that that you would hear pop up when price gets close to that level. But sometimes you might not know if you have any other indicator that makes the same noise, you would not know. So what do? I normally click, you see these three arrows, three dots here. I click on it. When I click on it, I go to it to open up my system. Because I have songs on my laptop, I just look for my music folder. I look for my music folder, look for my music folder. When I look for my music folder, I just find any um, uh, song I like, you select it. When you're through, you test it. So in this case, let me see this song.
Check this one. Everybody.
So that is what you would hear 5 times within 10 seconds. It will not play fully, it will just intermittently. So the way to use this is that your internet must be off. Your internet must not be off. If your internet is off, you will not get the alert. Although there is a way to set it so that you get notifications on your phone. It will send an email to your phone. So I think you might need to check YouTube and type that in, and you will find it might give you a link on how to go and check it. So that is how you set an alert. If you don't want to place it pending, you could set an alert there. When you set an alert there, once price gets there, you get a notification. So that does it. So basically, let's see what happens as price moves forward. You could see the first time price came into this upper supply. Do you see what happened? It just tagged it, and after that, it just went straight down. Although they came back and then they took it out. Do you see what I say about the zones being used as support? Do you see it? Price broke it, came back. This is what we call break, pullback, continuation. And now this is where we have price. So along this area that price has moved, if you switch to your line chart, you'll find out that you have a demand here and you have a demand here. And one thing with this system is that if supplies are being taken out, you know that the trend is basically bullish. If demand is constantly being taken out, you know that the trend is constantly bearish. That's the trend you're looking at that particular point in time is bearish. Are we all on the same page? So one thing I found out with this system is that for a pair like U30, it's safer to use this system on U30. It will save you a lot of heartache because this pair is very fast. It's pretty fast. And sometimes if you are aware, if you're not into just trying to trade, the market will always tell you when they want to do something. You will just see a sharp move, they'll start going sideways, then you pay attention. Because most times this is, you see it here, a sharp move. Some people call this a flag system, but this is a consolidation. This is another type of demand. It's not something I'll teach today. It's another type of demand. They call it what do you call this? A continuation, demand continuation. But I call it rally-based rally. For a supply, you have drop-based drop. So that is it. That's not what I'll teach today. It's something else I'll teach for another day. So this system, you can use it on almost any time frame. But the best thing is that you must have an idea of what the time frame above the time frame you're trying to play is looking like. Like if you're on the 15 minutes, if you set this up on the 15 minutes, you must have an idea of what the 1 hour is doing. Do I have questions before I call it a day? Do I have questions? Any questions? So, for those of you who might want to learn this system, if you are interested in learning this system, I'm currently undertaking registrations for my second batch of students. That's for those who are advanced and would want to learn this system. I'm currently undertaking registration for my next batch of students. If you're interested, these are my handles, best especially my Telegram handle. You can always reach me up on my Telegram handle and I'll be glad to answer you. This video clip will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Plan Your Trade, Trade Your Plan. You could go there and watch it. So if you have any questions, you can hit me up on any of these social media. I don't have a website and I don't intend to have one. So if you have any questions of any sort, you can reach me out on this. And I also have a free channel. The link to the free channel is in the Instagram group. That is where you can access it from. The link to the free channel is in the Telegram group. So when you go to the Telegram group, on my header, you will see the link and you can sign up from it. You can just click it to take you straight up to the page. So once again, I thank you all for taking your time to come, and I wish you all a beautiful weekend and a happy trading week in advance. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all.